Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shinobazu, your gaming and anime ninja, also your stream sensei, and today we're going to be talking about should you join a VTuber agency, or at least 9 things you should know before you sign. The main reason I wanted to talk about this topic is one, every time I see a big agency open up, they're taking auditions, or even smaller agencies kind of pop up out of the woodwork, I see all of my friends and just about every VTuber in existence going in, signing up, getting their hosts up, getting super excited. And not that I think the agencies are necessarily bad or anything like that, I think they can actually be super helpful for you, but I really think that a lot of creators are signing up or auditioning for these agencies without really knowing what to expect for them or really what they're supposed to do for them, and kind of basically getting let down in a lot of ways, and also sometimes just kind of signing up for some really bad deals. So after hearing a couple stories and seeing a couple of these smaller agencies kind of implode, and even seeing bigger agencies kind of taking advantage of their talent, I wanted to make this video so that you know beforehand everything you need before you sign that dotted line so that you can make the best decision for you, your career, and your future. Either way, let's get into it. The first thing you should know, or that you should at least think about, is are you ready for an agency? There's a lot of different things to consider. I'm not going to say you should be at a certain size, number of viewership or subscriber count, but at the end of the day, the agency isn't generally looking to make talent. They're looking to spotlight talent. They're looking to help promote someone who's already got a gift, or already got something going for them, just needs a little fuel to the fire to really blow up. That's what they're looking for. So at the end of the day, if you're still trying to figure out how the basics of streaming, how to entertain a chat, or how to be engaging, or how to basically be a star, more than likely joining an agency isn't the right time for you. On the reverse side of this though, if you're already doing big, blowing up, and kind of already got a couple 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, even 1,000 viewers, or you're already doing really well on YouTube and Twitch, you may not really need an agency. At the end of the day, the agency's job is to help promote you and help you get there faster, but depending on where you're at, you may not even really need them. It's just kind of something a lot of people rush to for prestige, but realistically, you can create a lot of that prestige on your own, and a lot of top creators have already done that. And lastly, the other thing you need to think about is this is going to be a commitment one way or another, so you need to know what your goals are for the future, so that if you're willing to sign up or join an agency, know that it's going to be like a long-term thing. These people are going to be looking for the next 2 to 5 years of your life for it to be really making an impact. Any agency that wants to sign you for less than that isn't serious and isn't going to make a serious change, or isn't committed to making a serious change, is going to be a waste of your time. But any agency that is serious, again, it's going to want 5 years of your life, minimum 2, which is like basically going to high school again. So something you should consider before even looking for anything like that. One of the next things I would say before you do anything else, before even talking to these people, is you really need to have a lawyer prepped and ready. So if you do get an offer, they can look it over. You want to try to get a lawyer involved as soon as possible. Yes, they can be expensive. Usually they're about $500 an hour, but reading over a contract or things like that usually only costs about 1 to 2 hours of work from them, sometimes at most 4, which is about $2,000. But if you're spending $2,000 for a model, you're spending $2,000 for like your stream overlay and emotes and everything like that, or your computer, you really should spend $2,000 on a lawyer who's going to be helping you decide the next 4 years of your life, especially because most of these contracts should be worth anywhere at no less than $50,000 over the life of the contract. And if it's not, again, it's probably not really worth your time, and you'd probably be better off just staying on your own. The next thing you need to know is, what do you need an agency for? At the end of the day, there's going to be agencies that do a lot of different things, but unless they're some of the biggest agencies around, the jack of all trades is going to be a master of none. So you need to figure out what these agencies can do, and more importantly, what do you need them to do for you? Do you need help setting up merch? Do you need management? Do you need help getting collabs? Do you just need more promotion, more interviews? Do you need financial stability? You need to know what it is that you actually need from the agency before you even take your time to apply. Because if you don't know what you need to grow as a creator, 1, they're not going to be able to properly help you, and 2, they're going to offer you a bunch of things just for you to find out that you don't really need them. And more importantly, even if you do find out you need them, if you don't know what you need, even if they say they can provide it for you, you might find out that they're not actually good at it because you didn't know what you needed to begin with. So when they actually provide it for you, they end up giving you a really crappy version of the thing you already knew you needed or didn't know you needed. Point being is, at the end of the day, you shouldn't just be signing up to these guys just to have their name tacked onto yours, because at the end of the day, that's not even what they're looking for. They're looking to put their name next to someone who is going to be a star, meaning you're going to be better for them than they ever would be for you. That's the case for just about every one of these agencies, whether it's Vshojo, HoloLive, or wherever. People care far more about the talent than the agency themselves, regardless of how big those agencies are. And that is supposed to be you as well. So just keep that in mind. You need to know what it is they're going to do for you to make it worth it to you. One of the next things you're going to have to think about here is what you're willing to give up. At the end of the day, For them, this is going to be an investment. Their goal is to get somewhere between 3 to 10x what they put in you back via either promotion, revenue, or notoriety. That's it. You need to know that going into this. You are an investment, not a charity for them. So if they don't think they're going to be like, I would say if they don't think they're going to be getting it back, they're not going to pick you. But if they do pick you, it's because they're planning on 10xing their return. So you need to know, one, what they're planning on taking from you, and two, before you even get a negotiation, you need to know what it is you're willing to give up and what you're not. Sometimes it's going to be time, revenue, freedom in which who you collaborate with, freedom in who you take sponsorship from. Sometimes they may want exclusivity in certain platforms or in certain places. They may even want the rights or IP to your character for an extended period of time, or for a post period of time, or sometimes in perpetuity. You need to know what they want, what you're willing to give up, and what you're not willing to give up, and for what reasons, long before you end up in that conversation with them. And again, I can't stress this, you want a lawyer to help protect you, because they'll sure try to sneak stuff in there. Even the nicest agencies do this, and I'll be honest with you, there is no nice agency. Their job is to look out for their best interests, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Once you've gotten all the back and forth with the agency done, the next thing you need to know is, do your goals align? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, as I was talking about before, and where does the agency themselves for 5 years? If you're trying to be a concert VTuber who's doing live shows or events at conventions, are they also online with that? Do they have a history of helping, VTubers do live performances or live shows or at concerts or anything like that? Or are this agency trying to end up being a webcomic and getting an anime and that whole 9 yards? You need to know, at the end of the day, if you're trying to make your way to Broadway in New York, you need to know that this is an agency that's trying to also get to Broadway and not one that's trying to go to Texas to get an anime made or trying to go to LA for Hollywood to get a movie made. You need to know to make sure that you guys are on the same page. Otherwise, everything they do for you is going to be against them, or basically taking them away from where they're trying to go. And ultimately, it's just going to be an unhealthy relationship, and it's going to be begrudging. If they do anything for you at all long term, it's always going to be against their best interest, which again creates what they call a conflict of interest, which isn't what you want when working with an agency. You want a team that's going to be working with you and to support you towards your goals and their dreams. And the only way they can do that is if their dreams and goals are aligned with yours. The next thing you need to talk about is, how transparent are they? Do you trust them? Are they open with the public of their dealings and how they handle things? Or do they keep a lot of that behind closed doors? Or are they going to make you sign an NDA, which isn't a bad thing, but if they're making you sign a non-disclosure, you need to ask them what it is exactly they don't want you talking about. Is it how much you're getting paid, how your cut's being done, how other things are happening, what your rights are, things like that? Have this company done other creators down dirty in the past? I don't know how many creators I've seen who've rushed to try to join an agency who they've seen screw over other creators, and it makes absolutely no sense to me. You don't want to be working with anyone, I don't care how good the deal is, you don't want to work with anyone that you don't trust. That's just it. And if you've seen them cut somebody off or screw someone over before, there's no reason to think that they wouldn't do that to you in the future. That's the whole point of noting and having a public reputation, is knowing what they've done and knowing what they're capable of. At the end of the day, if they were a snake when they met you, they're a snake when they met you. One thing I learned a long time ago was that love cannot live where trust does not exist. And I want to love the people I work with. I want to love my team. I want to love my agency, my management. And at the end of the day, I don't love the people I'm working with. I'm never going to be able to trust them, and we're never going to be able to actually really work together. One of the last things you're going to want to talk about when setting up with any of these companies is, what does the prenup look like? Or essentially, if things don't work out, regardless of what the reason is, like Kanye said, if you ain't no punk, holla, we want prenup. It's something that you need to have, because at the end of the day, you never know. I'm not going to sing around Kanye, sorry, but seriously, at the end of the day, you don't know how things are going to go out. The world changes, people make mistakes. If you want to leave, you need to know how much notice you need to give them. If they want you to leave for any reason, you need to know how much notice, if any, they need to give you. And more importantly, you also need to know what are the exceptions to those rules. For the example, if the owner of the agency, or the owner of the company, or someone higher up in the company gets caught for some, misconduct allegations, and you want to split with the company to protect your brand, which you're fully within your right to do, you need to know that there's a clause in there that allows you to do that, what notice you need to give, and what that break looks like beforehand, so that you're not trying to figure this all out with a lawyer afterwards, because I promise you it'll be 10 times as expensive if you don't have it written into your contract. And more importantly, because sometimes it's just you grow faster than you expect it to, you're not aligning for different reasons, whatever the case might be. There may have been nothing big that happened, but you may just want to leave the company. You need to know that essentially what a buyout looks like, how much that buyout would cost, so that you're able to basically plan for your exit. Obviously, you want to give them back theirs for investing in you and believing in you. You want to make sure that it's not some absurd amount that you could never pay off, but at the same time, you want to make sure it's enough to where you can actually exit amicably where you guys are on good terms to maybe work together on other projects in the future, that whole 9 yards. On the flip side of it though, and this is one of the most important things that I think a lot of people don't do, is you need to know what a buyout of you looks like in the event something goes sideways with the agency. At the end of the day, if you're gonna sign with them, you're gonna be giving them 2 to 5 years of your life. If you are committing to them for that time, you need to make sure that there's a financial commitment from them to you for that same period of time. I don't know how many times I've worked with people where they've had like everything lined up, they're getting ready to debut, they're getting ready to launch, and whatever happened, the agency changed their mind and that person was just asked out. Realistically, we saw this with Ninja and Shroud. When Mixer closed down, because their team went and negotiated what it would look like in the event that Mixer became no more, Ninja and Shroud would still be paid what they were due for their contract. Not everyone does that, but if you're going to be signing to them for 5 years, you're not just saying yes to them, you're saying no to everyone else. If they decide to shut down a year into that, you need to be compensated for that time that you could have spent doing something else with another agency, with another team, because there's some doors that may be forever closed to you simply because you decided to sign to them. And that's okay, but you need to make sure you're compensated for that and that you have it in your agreement that you will be compensated for that before, if anything else goes down, if they go bankrupt or whatever the case is, that you are paid out first before any of that happens. The last thing I would say here is no matter what people tell you in the call, no matter what they tell you in the interview, get everything you guys talk about whenever you do come to terms, get it in writing. It's the most important thing. Preferably a contract, preferably a notarized contract with like a witness, like an official notary if possible. But ideally, best case scenario, you want it in writing. You want your lawyer to look over it. If any point in time they have a problem with you having your lawyer look over it, walk away from the deal, because no self-respecting business is gonna dislike having someone's lawyer look over it. And more importantly, their lawyers are not your lawyers. Even after you sign that contract, their lawyers are not gonna be your lawyers. You're still going to want a personal lawyer for your own best interest and things like that. And those are things you need to keep in mind. But ultimately, I just feel like this is really important for people to know, because there's a lot of essentially just, I don't say agency taking advantage of people, but there's a lot of people just kind of going into the joining an agency mindset or going to the agency world without really knowing what they're gonna have to give up, what it's gonna cost, and what they should do to protect themselves. There's a lot of ways, unfortunately, you can end up holding the bag in a bad way if like things don't work out. They could sign you and then change their mind. They could sign you and go bankrupt. They could sign you and then one of the other talents blows up and they just don't properly take care of you. There's a lot of different things that could happen here. So you want to make sure that contractually you are covered and protected, because ultimately their goal is going to be doing the exact same thing on their side. That's pretty much all I have for today. I know this was kind of a little bit different video, but I've just seen so many VTuber agencies pop up, so many people going for auditions, so much of this and that. And the biggest drama I've seen around it is people coming back from the audition jaded, or coming back from the experience upset because they were expecting something that, to be frankly, was never really promised to them in these conversations. And the only way they could get any of the things they're even remotely expecting is if they got it in writing and they went like with enough leverage to be able to get what they're looking for in writing. And a lot of people aren't doing that. That being said, I do think that there's a lot of positives that could be going and starting an agency. And I know there's a lot of smaller agencies that are going to be trying to start soon. So if you enjoyed this video and you happen to be an agency watching, or someone who's looking to start an agency or group in your own, my next video is going to be a video basically talking about what you should do as an agency to be able to properly support talent, and also to be able to cover your own personal basis. Because again, at the end of the day, it's an investment. This video is for the, the talent side. Next video will be for the agency side, to help you guys be able to make the best decision for you and your company, both in the short and long term, as well as a couple other tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. Either way, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to bug me about this or anything else, I stream every night on Twitch from 4 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Link in the description below. And also, if you want a private coaching sessions, access to my private Discord, or anything like that, a link will also be down below for my Patreon, where you can support me there, become a permanent or a supporting part of the community. I would really appreciate it. But either way, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, my name is Shinobazu, you gaming and anime ninja, and I'll catch you guys later, all right? Deuces.